Look at your cat sleeping peacefully across the room right now. You probably think you know exactly what is going on inside that furry little head. But what if I told you that everything you believe about your feline companion is barely scratching the surface? Beneath that comforting purr and those affectionate slow blinks lies a complex, highly evolved predator harboring astonishing secrets that even lifelong owners completely misunderstand. For instance, you likely assume a meow is just standard animal communication, but recent science reveals it is actually a highly sophisticated vocal frequency biologically engineered specifically to manipulate human psychology. And that random, frantic sprint across the hallway at 3 in the morning, it has absolutely nothing to do with a sudden burst of pent-up energy, but rather an ancient, dormant survival instinct triggering right inside your living room. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on 10 startling, scientifically backed feline facts that will fundamentally rewrite everything you know about your furry best friend. Just wait until you discover the hidden evolutionary meaning behind the way they rub against your legs, a daily gesture you are almost certainly misinterpreting. Prepare to decode the ultimate enigma sleeping at the foot of your bed. As the lights go out and the house falls entirely silent, you might think your feline companion is finally settling into a deep, restful slumber alongside you, but in reality, their biological clock is just beginning to chime. That sudden, seemingly inexplicable explosion of movement down the hallway at 3 in the morning, affectionately dubbed the zoomies by bewildered owners, is not a random release of excess daytime energy. Instead, you are witnessing a spectacular display of crepuscular instinct, a genetic echo from their wild African desert ancestors. Because cats are naturally wired to hunt at dawn and dusk, the dead of night triggers an involuntary, high-stakes predatory sequence in their brain. Even if they have a bowl full of premium kibble waiting in the kitchen, their neurology compels them to rehearse lethal hunting maneuvers against phantom prey. They are reacting to microscopic shifts in barometric pressure, the distant scurry of a mouse in the walls, or even the settling of your house's foundation, executing a flawless ancient survival protocol right on your living room rug. If you have ever been jolted awake by your own tiny predator executing one of these frantic midnight hunts, drop a comment down below and tell us what invisible enemy they were battling, because every cat's unique hunting choreography is actually a fascinating window into their specific genetic lineage. While they sprint through pitch-black corridors, they rely on a sensory apparatus so incredibly advanced that human engineers have yet to replicate it, which brings us to a mind-bending truth about how your cat physically interacts with the world. You might assume their large reflective eyes are doing all the heavy lifting in the dark, but it is actually their whiskers that are steering the ship. These are not just extra long hairs, they are highly specialized, deeply embedded sensory organs called vibrissae, which are packed with nerve endings that send constant, high-speed spatial data directly to the cat's brain. As your cat moves, these whiskers detect microscopic changes in air currents bouncing off nearby walls, furniture, and unseen obstacles, allowing them to construct a highly detailed, three-dimensional map of the room in total darkness. They are essentially navigating via a feline biological sonar. This profound connection between their nervous system and their environment explains why cats possess such uncanny agility, and understanding this invisible sensory web fundamentally changes how you view their every movement. As the sun rises and the midnight hunt concludes, a new set of behaviors emerges, leading us to one of the most universally misunderstood interactions between humans and cats. When you walk into the kitchen to start your day and your cat begins aggressively weaving between your legs, rubbing their cheeks and the base of their tail against your shins, it is incredibly easy to interpret this as a pure expression of morning affection. We project our human understanding of hugs and physical touch onto them, but evolutionary biology paints a much more possessive picture. Your cat is engaging in a behavior known as bunting, utilizing invisible, specialized scent glands located around their mouth, chin, and tail to smear you with powerful facial pheromones. To a cat, you are a massive, unpredictable creature that brings resources into their environment, and by marking you with their unique chemical signature, they are literally claiming you as their personal property. They are updating an olfactory bulletin board, leaving a distinct message for any other potential predators that you belong entirely to them and that their territory is secure. It is a brilliant, entirely self-serving security measure disguised as an adorable morning ritual. If uncovering the secret, sophisticated language of your feline overlord fascinates you as much as it does us, taking a quick moment to subscribe to the channel ensures you never miss out on decoding these incredible daily mysteries. And the deception does not stop at physical touch. Right after they finish marking your legs, they will likely look up and let out a very specific demanding sound for their breakfast. You might think they are just talking to you, but the auditory mechanics behind that simple morning meow involve a deeply calculated evolutionary strategy designed specifically to hijack human biology, a vocal weapon so precisely tuned that it practically forces your brain to submit to their demands. To understand this auditory illusion, we have to look closely at what acoustic scientists refer to as the solicitation purr. An incredibly specialized vocalization where your cat intentionally embeds a high-pitched cry within a lower-pitched, seemingly soothing purr. What makes this so astonishingly manipulative is that this specific frequency perfectly mimics the acoustic signature and urgency of a distressed human infant. Our brains have been hardwired by millions of years of evolution to respond to that exact pitch with immediate instinctual caregiving. Your feline companion has essentially hacked your mammalian maternal or paternal instincts, bypassing your logical brain and tapping directly into your deepest biological programming just to get their food bowl filled a few seconds faster. Even more mind-boggling is the fact that this behavior is completely exclusive to their relationship with you. In the wild, adult cats almost never meow at one another. They use scent and body language to communicate. That morning, meow is a bespoke, fabricated language invented by felines entirely to control human beings. If you have ever caught yourself practically tripping over your own feet to open a can of wet food just to appease that heart-tugging sound, drop a comment below and share exactly how your cat demands their breakfast. We love reading how these tiny masterminds operate in different households, and if you are enjoying having your reality shattered by your feline friend's secrets, a quick tap on the subscribe button ensures you stay one step ahead of their next trick. But their ability to manipulate us with sound is only a fraction of their hidden sensory arsenal, and as we move from what they say to what they see, their world becomes even more alien. Have you ever noticed your cat sitting perfectly still, staring intensely at an absolutely blank corner of the room or a plain white wall, leaving you wondering if they are looking at a ghost? They aren't looking at the supernatural, but what they are perceiving is in fact entirely invisible to the human eye. Cats possess the extraordinary biological ability to see ultraviolet light. While our human vision is strictly restricted to a narrow, predictable spectrum, your cat is casually walking through a highly illuminated psychedelic wonderland, things that are completely imperceptible to us, like the microscopic trails left behind by insects, the intricate UV absorbent patterns on indoor plants, or even the faint chemical traces of other animals light up like neon signs in their glowing eyes. When they lock their unblinking gaze onto seemingly nothing, they are actually tracking a vibrant, bustling world of ultraviolet activity right inside your living room. This hidden sensory dominance does not stop at their glowing eyes. It extends far beyond their face, reaching right down to the very tips of what most owners assume is just cute facial hair. Those whiskers are not just long, decorative bristles that give your cat a perpetually distinguished look. In reality, they are highly tuned, hypersensitive radar arrays known as vibrissae, embedded far deeper into the cat's body than normal hair, connecting directly to their muscular and nervous systems. These sensory organs are so unfathomably sensitive that they can detect microscopic changes in air currents bouncing off nearby objects. This means your cat can literally feel the exact size, shape, and speed of the furniture, toys, and potential prey around them in pitch darkness, without ever actually touching them. It is a physical superpower that grants them their famous liquid-like grace as they navigate narrow shelves covered in fragile knickknacks without knocking a single thing over. Yet this graceful, radar-guided movement hides an even darker, more astonishing biological secret, one hidden right inside their very skeleton, an anatomical anomaly that allows them to effortlessly survive situations that would be instantly fatal to almost any other creature on Earth. A mystery that unfolds the moment they decide to take a leap into the unknown, the moment their paws leave the safety of a high shelf and they plunge into that seemingly impossible abyss. A miraculous sequence of skeletal gymnastics is triggered in mere fractions of a second. Unlike humans, dogs, or almost any other mammalian companion, cats lack a rigid collarbone. Their clavicles are entirely free-floating, anchored only by a complex web of muscle tissue. This evolutionary loophole is the reason why, if a cat can fit its head through a narrow gap, its entire body can effortlessly follow, compressing and contorting like living liquid. But this anatomical quirk is not merely for squeezing under tightly closed bedroom doors. It is the core mechanical engine behind the legendary feline righting reflex. As they plummet toward the ground, a highly specialized vestibular apparatus hidden deep within their inner ear acts as an organic gyroscope, instantly calculating their exact orientation in three-dimensional space. Communicating at lightning speed with an abnormally flexible spine, which boasts up to 53 vertebrae compared to our measly 34, the cat literally bends its body in half mid-air. The front half twists one way, the back half twists the exact opposite way, and within the literal blink of an eye, their paws are perfectly aligned to absorb the shock of impact. It is a breathtaking defiance of gravity that has kept the species thriving for millennia. But surviving a terminal velocity fall is only one part of their absolute mastery over the physical world. While their bodies are perfectly engineered to manipulate gravity and physics, their minds have evolved an even more subtle set of tools designed to manipulate something far more complex: you. Before we dive into the staggering psychological trick your cat uses on you every single day, take a moment to think about the absolute strangest place you have ever found your cat impossibly squeezed into, and share that story in the comments below, because reading about those daily feats of feline physics never ceases to amaze. Returning to their covert arsenal of survival tactics, scientists have recently uncovered a fascinating, somewhat manipulative truth about the everyday sounds your cat makes. You might naturally assume that their meowing is just a universal spoken feline language, but in the wild, adult cats almost never meow at each other. Feral cats communicate entirely through scent marking, subtle shifts in body language, and microscopic ear twitches. That specific demanding chirp or drawn-out wail they use in your kitchen is an entirely manufactured language, a bespoke vocabulary custom-tailored through trial and error for the sole purpose of hacking the human brain. Researchers conducting acoustic analyses on feline vocalizations discovered that domestic cats embed a high-frequency pitch within their purrs and meows that perfectly matches the acoustic frequency of a human baby's cry. This isolation frequency bypasses our logical thought processes entirely and taps directly into our deepest primal nurturing instincts, making it biologically impossible for a healthy human brain to ignore them when they want food or attention. It is a masterful, highly evolved form of sonic mind control. If you have ever felt utterly powerless to resist your cat when they are begging for an extra treat, you aren't being weak. You are simply falling victim to an evolutionary acoustic weapon. If you are enjoying uncovering these hidden, almost magical layers of feline genius, consider subscribing to Cat Curiosities as we continuously peel back the mysterious layers of our everyday companions. This calculated manipulation of our emotions is undeniably brilliant, yet it points toward an even deeper mystery regarding how cats truly perceive the environment we share. We often assume they see the same living room, the same light, and the same reality that we do, just from a much lower vantage point, but beneath the roof of their mouth lies a secret sensory organ that grants them access to an entirely different dimension of reality. When your cat randomly freezes in the middle of the room, mouth held slightly open in what looks like a funny frozen grimace, a behavior scientifically known as the Feline response, they aren't just spacing out. They are activating the vomeronasal organ, a highly specialized cluster of sensory cells that allows them to literally taste the chemical composition of the air itself. Through this hidden organ, they are downloading invisible chemical data left behind by you, by outside animals, and by subtle shifts in the environment, reading the room in a way that borders on sheer telepathy. They can detect if you are stressed, if you are sick, or if a storm is approaching from miles away. They exist in a vibrant, swirling matrix of invisible chemical information that we humans are completely, hopelessly blind to. Yet as astonishing as this is, all of these physical and sensory superpowers, the radar-guided whiskers, the liquid free-floating skeleton, the sonic acoustic manipulation, and the ability to taste invisible emotions in the air, are merely the foundational building blocks for the most profoundly shocking fact of all. Behind those glowing vertical pupils lies a secret that researchers have only just begun to decode. It is a groundbreaking recent discovery in feline neuroscience that completely shatters everything society thought it knew about their aloofness and independence. A final, mind-bending revelation about what is actually happening deep inside their brains the moment they look you dead in the eyes. A truth so powerful that it will permanently change the way you view the human-cat dynamic forever. For centuries, history and pop culture have painted our feline companions as aloof, self-serving opportunists who merely tolerate our presence in exchange for a warm bed and a full food bowl. But when your cat sits across the dimly lit room, wraps its tail neatly around its paws, and locks its glowing gaze onto yours, what is actually happening in the dark, mysterious corridors of its mind is nothing short of a biological miracle. Scientists recently decided to look past the behavioral myths and dive directly into the feline brain, placing neurosensors on cats and their owners to measure chemical fluctuations during these quiet, seemingly mundane moments of eye contact. Researchers expected to see a baseline predatory response, or perhaps the simple, localized anticipation of a meal. Instead, the data they captured was so profoundly moving that it brought some of the most hardened animal behaviorists to tears. The moment your cat holds your gaze and slowly closes and opens its eyes, that iconic lethargic blink we have all witnessed but rarely understood, its brain is being flooded with a massive surge of oxytocin. This is the exact same powerful neurochemical that floods a human mother's brain when she looks at her newborn infant. Think about the staggering magnitude of what that truly implies. In a world where cats are undeniably apex predators, hardwired for survival and solitary by ancient evolutionary design, they have carved out a biological, emotional exception specifically for you. But the depth of this unseen connection goes much deeper than a simple chemical rush, leading to an astonishing realization about how they perceive your absence, something you will want to keep in mind the next time you grab your keys and walk out your front door. Recent breakthroughs in cognitive mapping have proven that cats exhibit what developmental psychologists call secure attachment. Just like a human toddler, your cat uses you as an emotional anchor, a secure base from which to bravely explore a chaotic world. When they seem to be entirely ignoring you, fast asleep in a sunbeam on the opposite side of the house, they aren't actually ignoring you at all. Their subconscious minds are constantly triangulating your position, listening to the unique rhythm of your breathing and the specific cadence of your heartbeat. You are their safe harbor in an unpredictable universe. When you leave the house, they don't simply power down and forget you exist until the sound of the kibble bag summons them back. They actively map your return, waiting patiently for the familiar, comforting vibration of your footsteps approaching the door. If you have ever come home to find your cat waiting faithfully in the hallway, or if you have a special quiet memory where you suddenly realized your cat truly loves you, take a moment to share that story in the comments below, because those shared intimate moments are exactly what science is finally catching up to. This brings us to the ultimate heartbreakingly beautiful truth about the human-cat bond, the emotional core that makes everything we've discussed so extraordinary. Underneath the razor-sharp claws, the radar-guided whiskers, the ultrasonic hearing, and the ability to taste the invisible world, your cat is harboring a profound, tender vulnerability. Genetically, they are almost indistinguishable from the fierce, untamed wildcats that stalked the harsh deserts of the Middle East thousands of years ago. They were never truly domesticated in the way dogs were broken and molded to serve our needs. Instead, cats made a choice. They actively stepped out of the wild shadows and into the warm glow of our hearths. They chose to soften their ancient predatory instincts, to look up at a giant, clumsy, furless creature and assign it the lifelong role of mother, father, and protector. They do not just tolerate us, they love us with a fierce, quiet intensity that defies their entire evolutionary programming. So tonight, when the house settles into silence and your cat jumps onto the bed, curling into a familiar weight against your legs, remember the miraculous journey that brought them there. To them, you are not just a provider of shelter or a convenient source of food. You are their family, their safety, and the absolute center of their vibrant universe. If this journey into the hidden, magical reality of your cat's mind has moved you or changed the way you see your furry companion, consider subscribing to our channel to keep uncovering the beautiful mysteries of the feline world alongside us. Until next time, the next time your cat looks up at you, give them a slow, gentle blink in return and cherish the extraordinary, invisible symphony of love you share.